And now we're going to hear about how many hands make light work from our wellness stakeholders on our district wellness committees to school site wellness leads, the champions who are really leading changes on campus. Our next presenter has traveled all the way from Chula Vista to be with us today. And Heather Cruz is the Director of Attendance Wellness at the Chula Vista Elementary School District. Heather has been an educator in the Chula Vista Elementary School District for the past 21 years as a classroom teacher, instructional coach, and district administrator. For the past 8 years, she has been on the forefront of promoting health and wellness within her district. Heather's commitment to wellness is evident as she actively runs the District Wellness Committee and initiated the District Site Wellness Leads program. I can't wait to hear more about this. Heather was honored on Kaiser Permanente's Thriving Schools Honor Roll in 2018 and was acknowledged as a Let's Eat Healthy Award recipient by the Dairy Council of California in 2022, further solidifying her position as a trailblazer in championing healthy school food and healthy schools. In the Chula Vista Elementary School District, a survey was conducted to learn more from district staff and gather data. Heather is here today to share with us about the survey, the outcomes, and steps taken to support district staff. Welcome, Heather. You got your slides, perfect. Oh, just kidding. Site Wellness Leads is the one I wanted to hear more about.
And I think I could probably just get up here and say ditto to everything that Kate did, and I'm done. So.
Thank you. That was great.
But, honestly, I really learned so much from Kate. I'm in Chula Vista Elementary School District, which is a part of San Diego County. And so when she was working for UCSD is when I first connected with her. And then when she came to San Diego Unified, where is she? She needs to hear all these great things I'm saying about her. When she came to San Diego Unified, we really partnered up, and she will tell me things that she's doing. I'm like, I'm going to do that. Then she tells me another thing. I'm like, I'm going to do that too. And so I have a few notes just from today of what I'm going to do next. So a lot of the things you're going to hear right now is what her team just presented on, but I'm going to show you what it looks like in my district. So here I am. I have been in the Chula Vista Elementary School District for my entire career. So I started out as a PE teacher, like Kat. Yeah. For 1 year, I did that, and I fell in love with the children and really wanted to have my own classroom. And so I became a classroom teacher, and I did that for about 8 years and absolutely loved it, but really wanted to impact on a wider scale. And so I became an instructional coach working with all of the classroom teachers on instruction. And I was just sharing with Lynn that instruction really is my passion. I am passionate about sports and health and wellness too, but my initial passion really was around instruction and continues to be. And I bring that into everything that I do. And then that led me into the opportunity, just like Kate, to have this brand new position. Ours was called something different, Coordinator of Physical Education, Health, and Wellness. And so I took that on for the first time for our school district, and then it progressed. Just recently, I've made a little bit of a transition, and I am now the Director of Attendance and Wellness. And then physical education has been taken off of my plate and put onto our instructional services department. So that's kind of where I am right now. And I actually love the idea of attendance and wellness being connected because we know that they are deeply connected. And so I'm happy to be doing that work now. A little bit about our district. We are at the very south side of San Diego. So we border the U.S.-Mexico border, and so we do have a lot of students that travel across the border to come to school. And our district is a very, very unique one. We have a freeway down the middle. It's the 805 freeway, and we have on the east side of our freeway a very affluent community. And then we have on the west, generally on the west side, is a very socioeconomically disadvantaged community. Yet we're in one district. So trying to find resources that fit the needs of our entire community can be a challenge at times. But you know, we have great community partners like Kate was talking about, and they have been wonderful in implementing everything we have. But just want to give you context about the type of district that I'm representing. We are the largest elementary school district in the state. So you're saying, wait, you're not nearly as big as San Diego Unified. You're right, we're not. But we are solely a TK through 6th grade school district. We have a few charters that go beyond that, but in general, we are a TK through 6th grade school district that serves 50 schools. And we have about almost 3,000 employees and almost 30,000 students that we are servicing. So it's very, very large for an elementary district, but nothing compared to San Diego Unified, LA Unified. But when we talk about our district, we also have high rate of English learners, high rate of students that qualify for free and reduced lunch, and then we have our high Hispanic population as well. But we were the very first district in San Diego to be a Live Well San Diego school district. So we're very proud of that too. So all this work came from our district wellness committee as well. So we started, this was not a committee that I started. It was already going before I was on board, but we have grown significantly and we continue to engage additional partners along the way. So you can see here we have about 30 plus members. We have all these different outside agencies that are so integral in making sure that all of this work can happen. So I also want to mention that it's so hard to be tied to this podium. I'm like, maybe I need a moving mic or something. This might be better for me. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Might be better for me. So I did mention, Kate, you didn't hear all the good things I said about you while you were gone. Sorry, one and done. Never going to hear them again. But a lot of this stuff, like I said, you may have already heard from Kate, but I'm going to give you this quote that says, adapt what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. Because I think that is what I have learned as I collaborate with Kate, is that she's doing so many good things, and I can't completely replicate what it is that she's doing. Just like you won't be able to replicate exactly what I'm going to present either. But take what you can. That's Bruce Lee, by the way. Take what you can, and there may be some stuff in here that you're like, yeah, that's useless for me. But I am going to provide at the end, I have a slide that has a QR code that you can scan that's going to have the entire presentation, and then anything that's underlined is linked. So you should be able, if you go to the presentation, open up the presentation and go to this slide, then you'll be able to click on those links, okay? Because within our wellness committee, we've been working on our different wellness goals. And so that's where this whole idea of site wellness leads came about. So we had our wellness committee say, what should we be working on? And site wellness leads was one of the ideas that they had. And so we worked through that. We also have done Wellness Champion Awards. All of this ties into our site wellness leads. All of it ties in. And then just like Kate was saying, participation in subcommittees has also been important for our wellness committee. But this was really the impetus of all of this work around site wellness leads. I can also tell you that when I was running the wellness committee, I heard from so many great organizations, and they said, Heather, we can help you. Here, CalFresh Healthy Living. Here's these resources. Here's these other. Alliance for a Healthier Generation. Here's these resources. Dairy Council, we have these resources for you. And I'm like, this. Oh my gosh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But what do I do with it? Like, what do I do with all of these resources? And so honestly, they were like in my inbox, they were in my head, and that was about it for a while. And maybe I would go to a school and they would say, oh, we're working on this. I'm like, oh, okay, am I really going to remember all those resources that I had? Probably not. If I did, I'd give it to them. But I quickly realized that me, one person that got into this position so that I could have a larger impact, was not having a very big impact by myself. And so when I heard about site wellness leads from Kate, I said, I have to do that. And it started out as my site, the site wellness leads were simply the person that I would send communications to of resources that I received. And then at their site, they knew what their site needed more than I did. And so they distributed it as they saw necessary. So if you're here and you're thinking, okay, I can't do all of this, you might start there. You might start with just designating somebody, and they are the one that you provide information to, and then they can do it at their site as they see necessary. The other starting point that we had was to get it into board policy. This has been extremely important for me, for when principals come to me, and I appreciated that question, Kirsten, like how do you get these people on board? Well, I tell them, according to Board Policy 5030, every site must designate a site wellness lead. Okay? That is something that I put into our last revision. That by 2020, this was in 2018, I believe, or 2017 maybe, that by 2020, each site will identify somebody. And at first, it was just a few. It was like 8 or 10. And then, but they were the ones that were more passionate about it. And then as it progressed, now by 2020, we have every single school site that has a designated lead. And no, they're not all super passionate, but a majority of them are, and it's great. I also, each time when I am asking the site administrator to designate a wellness lead, I always send out the roles and responsibilities. And so they can see what is it that's being asked of them. And it is minimal, but it does take time, just like you heard. So the main thing that we do, that I started out where we would just get together and I would just give them all these resources. And it made me feel a lot better that all these connections that I had were being shared with them. But then I had no clue what they did with that information. And so that's how it progressed to the next level where we're doing goal setting. And so each year, really, the goal setting and then monitoring of the goal is what we do the whole year. And so I wanted to work smarter, not harder. And so we use the different topic areas from Thriving Schools Integrated Assessment, and then they get to select which area do they want to work on. And so where we talked about having choice and voice, yes, that is what they have here. And so you can see for last year, this is how it played out for our schools. We had a large majority that said, my school needs to work on, or we want to have a goal around, strengthening social emotional health. Is anybody surprised at that? No, not really, right? And cultivating staff well-being. So that made up over 50% of the goals. Then we had some that wanted to work on enriching health education, some on increasing family and community engagement, improving nutrition and food access. And if you click on goal setting right there, it will take you to the goal setting form that looks like this. And so this was also a progression. At first, I said, I sent out a form and it was like name, school, what's your goal? Here's what I got back. Our goal is to be healthier at blank. Nice. Our goal is to implement the wellness policy. Awesome. Great. I'm like, guys, really? Come on. So then my kind of educator background comes in and I'm like, fine, make a SMART goal then. And so that's what I do now. I make them make a SMART goal. And not only do I have them do this, but then we follow up with resources. So for example, here you can see one of the goals. Ooh, we need glasses for this one. One of the goals that one of the schools said is that by May 2023, they will plan a wellness fair that includes students, families, and their community. In this wellness fair will include healthy stations, healthy food, and local wellness resources. And then I said, okay, so tell me, how is that specific? And so then they have to say, plan a wellness fair. How is it measurable? Okay, and so go through, and no, I don't make them correct it each time, but I will tell you, out of all of them that I received, I went back and had them change about maybe a third of them. Because if you don't start with that specific goal, then you really don't know what you're working towards, and how do you even measure it? How do we measure our impact then? How do we know if we were successful? So we spent a lot of time on this. And it has helped a lot. For our site wellness leads, yes, they create this goal, but then we need to provide them with support. So this is where our partners come in with a lot of support. Like I said, I would go through and I would read all of the goals, but if they weren't to where I thought they needed to be to help them be successful, that's where I brought in our partners. We had some HealthLink nurses that would go through and they would email with the site wellness leads and say, okay, here's what you need to change. How are you going to measure this? How is it time bound? By when is it going to be done? And just having that really helped them to know, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. And then at each one of our meetings, we meet quarterly for 1 hour. So that's a little bit different. And I can share a little bit about the structure of those. During that 1 hour, first thing I'm doing is providing them with some sort of icebreaker. Then we are doing some sort of resource sharing. So I have one of our partners come on and share something. I was just talking with Margaret last night, and she was saying, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. Like, you need to talk with Margaret, by the way. And I said, at one point I said, it would be really cool she said, well, I can give you that information. And again, I automatically think, okay, if I get that information, it stays in my head and it doesn't get shared out. So I said, well, maybe at some point you come and you present to our site wellness leads. And she's like, sure, I would love to. So that's really another way that I use these site wellness leads. Whenever I have somebody that says, do you want this information? I'm like, how about you provide it to my site wellness leads? So a little tip. So that's the structure of the meetings, icebreaker, some sort of resource, and then I give them time to either create their goal or brainstorm their goal or provide an update on their goal. So oftentimes they'll get into groups and they'll talk with somebody else, some of the other wellness leads, and say, this is what I'm working on, this is what's working, this is what's not working, and really just giving them that time to collaborate. And so it is an hour. I don't know how you do it in less than an hour. Every time I'm there, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need 2 hours. I need a lot longer time. But that's how we structure our meetings. And so, as far as a partner, how many of you guys are partners that are on a wellness committee? Yeah, we have several. Okay. If you can support them in this way, it would be great. I do not like to plan meetings by myself. I mean, I think my ideas are great, but sometimes I run out of them. So I need thought partners in that. And so I do have a planning committee that comes together and we plan out the meeting together. And then we share the load. So it's not just me that is doing all the talking. And so partner support in planning the meetings, and then, like I said, the analysis of goals, and obviously the alignment of resources. When they know what the resources or what the goals are, they say, oh, I have this that I can support this school, and I connect them together and say, yes, please contact that school and provide them with support, because as one person, I cannot do it for all of them. I just can't. So, and then I also provide them with a strategies and recommendations list, and that is a resource that was created, again, in partnership with some of our, with the county Health and Human Services Agency, and they aligned it to the Thriving Schools Integrated Assessment, and so you can look at this and you can see if we went back to the goal setting and somebody wanted to work on cultivating staff well-being, they can go to the strategies and recommendations list and they can see several different strategies specifically for cultivating staff well-being. And so they can select from there. And so providing them with that. And then the other thing, the celebration. As Kate was up here, by the way, sorry, side note, like, first of all, she stole my opening activity because I was literally going to do the same thing. I think I am Kate. Like, I mean, and I'm giving myself a pat on the back. I'm like, good job, Heather. Good job. Everything she was doing, I'm like, well, check that off. Don't need to do that anymore. So I know who you guys all are now. I know if you're a district or community organization. And then celebrating them. So making sure that this is a no-cost celebration that I did virtually. I created a little slideshow. And on the first one, well, I give each person a certificate. You can see there. So Dennis Vargas, and then the 3 is because he has been a site wellness lead for 3 years. And so I print those out and I send them directly to their school sites. But then I also created a slideshow that just celebrated them too. And it was very basic, but they loved it. And we are also able to provide funding for them now. So whenever they are in attendance, they get to put on the time on a time card and they get paid for their time there. But like I said, I'm going to steal Kate's idea. I love the stipend if the deliverables are met. So I think that may be a change that I'll get to. And then definitely surveying them and saying what worked, what didn't work. And so I'm not ashamed to say I don't get all 5 stars. And that's okay, because I see this as them rating me, but it's not. They're actually rating themselves for the most part. And so here are the questions that I ask. Do you plan to return as a site wellness lead next year? And they'll either say, yes, I'll let my administrator know I'm interested in continuing, unsure at this time, or no, I will ask my administrator to find a replacement. Okay, it's not just a yes, no, unsure. Like, there's an action with each one of these. How would you rate your overall experience? And then what worked or didn't work? And so just wanted to share a few of these with you. It's good to be held accountable. They wanted to be held accountable. And they loved the ideas and the resources that they heard throughout the year. And then here's their own personal reflection. I need to establish a committee so wellness doesn't just fall on me to do it all. And so this is something that we're actually going to move towards in the next year of, okay, yes, you're site wellness lead, you create your goal with your principal, you complete the integrated assessment with your principal, but now it needs to move beyond that. And so we are at that point now as well. Like Kate said, with the 10 years, we definitely have been doing this for about 7 now, 6 or 7. And so we're at that point where we need to move beyond what we're doing. And site wellness councils are our next step. Just a few more. This one, I love this. Goal implementation at blank elementary did not work for the 6th year in a row. I do not know what to do anymore. This is reality. Like, teachers have too much on their plates to even entertain another task. You're right. I understand. So then I take this, and this is where I can go and meet with this teacher individually and say, okay, so what can be done? And I'm actually working very closely with this school on attendance as well. And so it's really about that culture, that climate and culture. But this is where I can give individualized instruction. I don't need to give individualized instruction to every single school site, but this one needs Tier 3 intervention. And this one was just, so you guys all know how great our program is. I felt like it was a great start for my first year as wellness lead. I tried many things and feel supported by my site admin as well as you, Heather. I'm looking forward to learning more about the direction our staff and families would like to see us go next year, as well as rolling out the VIBA stuff on site. So I just wanted to leave you with that. I wanted you to know that you can contact me at any time to let you, if you want to hear about, how did this work, or how did you do this, or how did you get funding for it, how did you get it into wellness policy. Happy to answer any of those questions for you. And then, like I said, I have linked several of the resources. This is actually, I'm so sorry, you guys, but they asked me to present all 3 days. All 3 days. So this QR code is going to be a link to the resources for all 3 days. So this one will be under Site Wellness Leads. Tomorrow will be under the Employee Wellness Survey. And then the 3rd day will be on Employee Wellness Program. So just click on there, and then if you click on the presentation, and you can get to any of the resources. But if anything's not working, not linking, send me an email. I'm happy to help. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Getting me all up to speed on the site leads. So now you'll be a mini me, I'll be a mini you, and the cycle will keep going. It'll be great. No, thank you. We realize that it's such an important piece to our wellness policy implementation to have all of these supports. I love the idea of the site lead. I love the idea that they can assist with implementation. And I love seeing that they need support too. They need committees as well, because this work is not done with just one of us. It really does take the whole network of supporters that we have. It's just a fantastic model. So thank you for sharing. I'm excited that you're presenting all 3 days. I think that's fantastic. That's what we do when we have such great presenters. We're like, no, really, we want you to do this multiple times. Change a few slides, keep the resource slide the same. It's great.